Okay, hi and welcome in this tutorial where I will be showing you how to edit this shot into this shot. So we're going to play around with the colors, we're going to play around with the levels, and we're also going to create a nice looking look to make sure that this shot really inspires some emotions. So the first thing that I'm going to do, this is the shot that we're going to be using, and this is a shot of Kilvis. Make sure to follow her on Instagram. She lives in Gran Canaria, and as a matter of fact, this is where we also filmed this shot, which is in the famous dunes of Maspalomas in the south of Gran Canaria, one of the Canary Islands. So I worked together with Kilvis a couple of times, and every time that we come together we really create something amazing. So this tutorial I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. We're going to the classical color correction, so we're gonna play with the primaries, then we're going to select the white balance, balance the colors, make sure that our shot is well balanced, and then we're going to separate. We're going to use a couple of masks to separate different parts of the shot. Think about her skin tones, think about the sky, think about the sand, and then we're gonna play with them separately. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is make sure that settings are right. This is a 4K video in 24 frames. This looks alright, and the next thing I'm going to do is to generate optimized media. So this way I can make sure that I can work in the right speed, that I can work in real time, because of course the more effects we're going to use, the slower my laptop will be. So for now, use optimized media if available, and we can start. So I'm going to import the shot. This is around the 7 seconds, and last but not least, you can actually access this shot without any trademarks in full quality in the link below. So this way you can experiment, you can actually go through the whole tutorial yourself, you can follow my steps, or you can also create a look of your own. So this way, even if you don't have any footage that you can experiment with, this way you can actually start editing. And the davinci is for free. Of course, I'm using a paid version, which is actually not that expensive, but all the effects that we're going to use in this video are the effects that are featured in the free version, meaning that even if you don't have a budget, you can already start with the free version. And again, I put all the relevant links in the description. So without further ado, let's go to the color, and straight away we're going to add a couple of nodes, and we're going to call the first one primaries. There we go. We're going to call the second one white balance, and then skin tones. I used another one, and I add a parallel one, and I call it sand, and then I'm going to call this one sky. So this is enough to start with. I'm jumping to the first node, and so here we want to make sure that the waveform is on, and we're going to play around with the primaries. So what kind of shot am I looking for? Well, the one where it really looks sunny. I want to create this atmosphere that you see here, and by getting the right contrast, by going back and forth, you can really create something very nice. There we go. And so for now, you can play with it as you please, but for now, this is a good start. So the second step is the white balance. I'm going to switch to vector scope, and here I'm going to play around with the highlights, with the midtones, and with the shadows. So what kind of shot am I looking for? First, I'm going to just play around and see what I like. And then I'm going to make sure that the blacks are black and the whites are white, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So now with this node selected, I'm going to create a window. There we go, a small window. Going to zoom in, use it, power window, make it less soft. And so what I want right now is I want to use her dress as the reference to our whites. And straight away we were actually quite lucky with the balance, because her dress is really white, but very often normally you would see something like this, you know, that it's a little bit more magenta or more blue or more green. And this way, just by focusing on this small selection, you can balance the whites. So I'm very satisfied with this selection, and I want to use the same for her hair. So I'm going to use this shot, this selection, and I'm going to repeat the process, only now I will be focusing on her hair. I'm going to balance the shadows. So forgive me for a little bit more inconvenience over here. Let's select the hair. There we go. And here I can already see that the shadows are a little bit bluish, so I balance it to make it completely black. So now I'm going to erase the window, and this way we have a nice shot. And for now this is enough, because the next step is for me to qualify her skin tones. So the skin tones, her skin is going to be a separate mask. This way we get much more control of the shot. So control of the colors, control of the end result, and how we want our viewers to feel when they're going to watch our work. So I select the qualifier, and straight away I'm selecting the skin tones, and as you can see, it's quite an easy. I'm going to do it just a couple of times. There we go. I like that. I'm going to blur it as well. There we go. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to play around too much with her skin tones, and just make, you know, just for illustration, I'm going to make sure to select it roughly right now. I'm going to zoom out. As you can see, I'm selecting the things on the right as well. And what I want to do right now is I'm going to create a window which will stay in the same place, and also where Kilvis is walking. There we go. And I'm going to keep that window in place. So let's play a little bit with her skin tones. For this I'm going to use the curves, and here as you can see, we can adjust how her skin is. Also, I'm going to use the selection, and on the right in vector scope I can see if her skin is in the right color. I'm going to change it just a little bit. There we go. So for now, one of the reasons of this process is to make sure that that she's not in the shadow, that her skin you know, comes forward. And I'm going to play with a little bit with the contrast as well. And so one thing that I'm going to adjust is so here in the primaries, I'm going to the second tab, and this is where the midtone detail is. And midtone details make sure that I can make the details more blurry in the midtones. So long story short, it makes her skin more soft. So this is without the effect, and this is with the effect, and I like it like this, and we're going to keep it. So the next step is to select the sand, and this one shouldn't be very difficult. There we go. We selected the sand, and we're also gonna blur the radius like this. Play around with the selection. There we go. And this is enough. So here I'm going to change the colors to make sure that the sand is more pleasant to watch, that it's more warm, and that the whole shot has this, like paradise destination feeling. So that's enough for the sand, and then the next one is the sky. So we repeat the process, the qualifier. There we go. Take the clouds as well, and we blur it. There we go. So let's look at the whole picture, and then we're going to just play with the sky. And this is actually, I don't want to make it too like commercial or like, basically what I want to create is quite a natural shot. Let's do it like this. Okay, so for now I'm actually satisfied with those masks. And so what I want, let's go before. This is how the shot looked like. This is how it looks now. It looks much better. And one thing I want to do, now that I have those two separate masks, I want to use the midtone detail again, but this time we're going to add more contrast, add more detail to the midtones in the sand. So it's going to be more rough, and then in the sky as well. There we go. And when it comes to the sky, I'm also going to change a little bit the color. Make it more, as a matter of fact, more artistic. So I decided after all that I just want to create a pleasant shot to watch. So this looks amazing. The last thing I'm going to add is a vignette. And instead of going to the effects and using the vignette, which I think it's a really nice, it's a nice effect. You can change it in many ways, but I'm going to show you something different, meaning that I will create my own vignette by applying the masks. So we're going to create a window. There we go. And soften it like this. Very good. And then we're going to invert it. So right here, and you can see it changing here already. So this way I'm only adjusting the corners, and going back to the primaries, I'm going to focus on the shadows right here. There we go. And at the same time, I want to desaturate the shadows as well, so it won't, so the contrast won't be saturated. So this was the shot before, and this is the shot after. So as you see, we have a very nice feeling in this shot we have a beautiful sun, a beautiful sky, we have a beautiful model walking in front of us. We see that her her dress is white, we see that her hair is black, and this way we have a proper color balance as well. So one more thing that we could have worked on is, you know, there are a couple of things that we could do. For instance, a little bit of noise reduction, but I think that this step, especially when your footage is with a lot of noise, I think this step is quite I think that this step is quite obvious. Another thing that we can do is add some sharpen, but we could also play around with the greens. But for now, I think that it really looks cool. I think it's a very nice looking shot with the high quality. And again, if you want to experiment yourself, I attached the shot in the description. You can download it, you can play around with it as you want. And as a matter of fact, if you feel that you created a very cool look you would like to share with me, make sure to email it to me, whether it's a unlisted YouTube link or a Dropbox link or whatever works the best for you. So that was the tutorial. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that this was very beneficial for you. And of course, like the video. If you have any questions, then you can comment below. And also subscribe to this YouTube channel. There are going to be much more tutorials where I will be not only teaching DaVinci Resolve, but also I will be teaching how I'm filming as well, because in my work I both film and edit. So yeah, that's about it. I hope that those steps were quite easy and that I explained it in a simple way. I hope that you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much, and I see you.